see haters outside.
Griner was sentenced to 9 years Russian penal colony Thursday after a judge found her guilty on drug smuggling and possession charges. I believe this is her. I'm not going to say that. Griner apologized and asked the judge in closing statements not to hand down the 9.5-year prison term prosecutors requested moments before her case closed in Russia, 6 months after her airport arrest with vape cartridges containing cannabis oil. Griner was convicted of, quote, deliberately, quote, bringing narcotics into the country with criminal intent, downplaying the statement from Griner that she made a, quote, honest mistake. Griner, speaking before the verdict was handed down from the cage where defendants are kept in a Russian courtroom. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. They keep defendants in a Russian courtroom in a cage. No lie. I watched this Russian documentary. It was crazy. 9 years in Russian prison is, whoo, God almighty. Okay, let's go ahead and fast forward. That's some of the testimonies. That's some of the statements. So what is Joe Biden doing? You know, I shared this meme video a long time ago of I'm not going to even say that right now. Now, I want to say this, okay, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to ruffle some feathers here. Brittney Griner said this. In 2020, I found this article. The National Anthem has no place in the WNBA, Brittney Griner went on to say. This was July 27th, 2020. This is on Yahoo Sports. Brittney Griner didn't take to the floor for the National Anthem during the Phoenix Mercury's debut on the WNBA bubble on Saturday. Don't expect her to do so moving forward. The Mercury Center, the 2019 league MVP runner-up, told reporters on a video call Monday that the WNBA should stop playing the National Anthem this season. That season was the 2019, once again, season. That she was the MVP league runner-up. No players took the floor for the anthem prior to the Mercury seasoning opening loss to the Los Angeles Sparks on Saturday. The protest arrived as the WNBA focused its opening weekend calling for justice for Breonna Taylor, the 26-year-old black woman who was shot and killed by police in Louisville on March 13th. Ladies and gentlemen, so let's end the article there. This obviously had a very big splitting. Who would have thought that there? There's civil war everywhere. Republicans, Democrats, this, that, blah, 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 blah. Right? It's all war. Gender war, civil war, political war. Hopefully we don't go to nuclear war. It's not funny. So she said we shouldn't play the anthem. She took the knee, this, and that. That had a lot of people upset. But she took the anthem for Breonna Taylor. Well, if you haven't been living under a rock, you would know that Breonna Taylor and the police that were involved in the incident today, 33 minutes ago, according to this article by the BBC, have been charged of her death. Ms. Taylor was killed in her home in Louisville, Kentucky on the 13th of March, 2020 by plainclothes police who were executing a no-knock search warrant. The hospital worker, 26, was shot as officers stormed the apartment just after midnight with her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker. That story had a lot of implications of a lot of different things, and a lot of people felt a lot of different ways about it. But obviously, at the end of the day, Breonna Taylor did not deserve to die. It's a horrific thing that happened. That's all I'm going to say about that. But in relation to the Brittney Griner case, it could be argued that Brittney Griner had a substantial effect on this happening. A lot of people might argue that this is a false charge against the police, or it's something that's just given to people so it could silence the people, quiet the people a little bit. Maybe they just got slaps on the wrist charges. I'll look up the charges for you instead of guessing here. But the articles here say this. As I click the articles, 4 officers charged in Breonna Taylor raid charged by federal officials. That's the New York Times. The police in Louisville, Kentucky fatally shot Ms. Taylor during a nighttime raid on her apartment. Prosecutors said officers lied in order to obtain a search warrant for Ms. Taylor's home. Well, if they lied to obtain a search warrant, then there's no escaping that. Well, I'll tell you what, federal prosecution, then that 98-point-something conviction rate that federal prosecution or federal courts have is definitely going to be in effect. And with the federal courts, I think you have to serve 85% of your time. And you don't go to the federal court, ladies and gentlemen, until you have some time. So they will be getting time. In the meantime, let's go back to Brittney Griner. Victor Bout, the merchant of death, is who is being negotiated for to possibly trade for Brittney Griner. Who is this Victor Bout guy? Well, I'll tell you what, you're in the right place. Buckle up. Put your seatbelts on. This is break time. If you have a few seconds, go grab something to drink. This is Victor Bout. This is a 3-minute long video. Now's your time. Go get something to drink. Do 10 jumping jacks. Go get something, whatever. I don't know. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and start this up.
Russian's arms dealer jailed in the United States.
Sorry about the left ear volume.
The 55-year-old has been dubbed the Merchant of Death and the Sanctions Buster. for his ability to get around arms embargoes. For almost 2 decades, Bout became the world's most notorious arms dealer, selling weapons to rogue states, rebel groups, and murderous warlords in Africa, Asia,
I just want to say that dude looks like a bad dude, man. I mean, like kind of badass.
inspired a Hollywood film starring Nicolas Cage. Now he's been linked to a possible swap for 2 US citizens detained by Moscow. Here's what we know about him. Little is known about Bout's origins. Biographies generally agree he was born in 1967 in Dushanbe, then the capital of Soviet Tajikistan. A gifted linguist, he later used his reported command of English, French, Portuguese, Arabic, and Persian to build his international arms empire. A stint in the Soviet army followed, where Bout served as a military translator, including in Angola, a country that would later become central to his business. His big breakthrough came in the days after the collapse of the communist bloc, when he cashed in on a sudden glut of discarded Soviet-era weaponry. In 2007, Douglas Farrar and Stephen Brown wrote a biography entitled Merchant of Death: Guns, Planes, and the Man Who Makes War Possible. It reported the following details of Bout's shadowy trade. Bout interwove his arms trafficking empire with a seemingly innocuous logistics business. He appeared to have little in the way of firm ideology, placing business above politics. His clients included rebel groups and militias from Congo to Angola and Liberia. In Afghanistan, he sold guns to Islamist Taliban insurgents and their foes in the pro-Western Northern Alliance. The end only came in 2008, after an elaborate sting operation by the US Drug Enforcement Administration in Bangkok. There, Bout was arrested by Thai police. After 2 years of diplomatic wrangling, Bout was extradited to the US, where he faced a raft of charges, including conspiracy to support terrorists, conspiracy to kill Americans, and money laundering. In 2012, he was convicted and sentenced by a court in Manhattan to 25 years in prison. The Russian state has been keen to get him back ever since. Experts say the Russians...
All right, so that is the man that the United States, according to the New York Post, is allegedly thinking about trading for Brittney Griner. What do you think about that trade? Is that something that potentially interests you, or do you think that that's an equal? Is that the right word? Now, listen here, ladies and gentlemen. 9 years for a vape pen is crazy. All right, that's crazy. But I'm gonna be honest though, y'all. There's no way I'm about to have a vape pen in Russia. Trump 2024. There's no way I'm gonna have a vape pen in Russia, y'all. Trump would have got her out. I'm sorry. There's no way I'm going to have a vape pen in Russia. There's no way I'm going to have a vape pen anywhere when I'm traveling on an airplane. Period. But especially not Russia or China or any country that aligns itself politically with China, like Russia, because they don't play about drugs. Neither does Thailand, which is why the Victor Bout mercenary, merchant of death, was arrested in Thailand. Because they don't play. They don't play. And you being a WNBA star, Brittney Griner, you being worth the face of a franchise, I know that they've told you not to travel hot. This is something else we were talking about, the article of, what was going on. In the I don't even know what this is, dude. I know that they told you not to travel hot, Brit. Now, yes, it's a vape pen. It's 2022, but other countries don't play, y'all. This is what we trying to tell the black dudes. They go for passport bros. Like, bro, don't go to Venezuela. Don't go to Costa Rica. Don't go to Brazil. Don't go anywhere like that. Getting drunk, starting fights, sticking out like a sore thumb. You're gonna get messed up by the locals, and you're gonna get messed up by the government. because they already don't like you. Those are inclusive nations. Russia, China, Germany, places like that you go to, if you're not from there, you better walk a fine line. You better be your line better be straighter than the line, because they're waiting for you to mess up. In this case, Brittney Griner's unfortunate case, they were definitely waiting for her to mess up, because we have so much political issues going on with this potential World War III. Now Brittney Griner, of all people, has been thrown into the freaking mix. What in the hell's going on? This poor girl, I mean, her spirits have to be completely broken, man. I saw a picture of her, and she's got her George 11 thing. I'm not even trying to gaslight. I saw a picture of her. Man, she's literally in a cage. You see this? Who does she have representing her? Who is that? Jesus, man. What a freaking nightmare. Now, a lot of people don't want to trade the guy for Brittney Griner, because they're like, listen, we're trading a potential nuclear threat for a WNBA basketball player. But don't get it wrong. I mean, it's a human being for a human being at the end of the day. We get that. But there's so many different aspects and dynamics when you start talking about stuff like this. Now, we have a big political agenda and a big political push that definitely you would think align itself under all means and by any means necessary to get Brittney free and to free Brittney. Hashtag free Brittney. And we're not talking about Britney Spears. If you don't know, Britney Spears had an issue where she had that, what's that thing called when your parents have the money, control your money because you're a kid star, you're a child star for a little bit of time? Her sponsorship, her controller, I forget what it's called. It's a human for a human, but she still looks like a kid, man. I mean, she kind of still is a kid, right? For all intents and purposes, dude. Oh, man. I have to cuss here. What a fucking mess. What a mess. Brittney Griner just found herself in the middle of a World War III political negotiation. Unreal times we're living in, y'all. It's unreal times we're living in. It's crazy. It's fiction is not as crazy as reality right now. You can't write stories like this. The man they call the Merchant of Death for Brittney Griner. Unreal. But do you let her sit in jail? Do you let her sit in Russian prison for 9.5 years? Will the Russians play any kind of ball? Negotiate? Do you think Joe Biden has the political fortitude? Do you think Joe Biden? Now, what happens is with content creators, with politicians, with people who end up getting put in power who should not be in power, what happens is when you have content creators like Nyla and Taz, and I'll let Cynthia make it today, and other people who are just terrible like that. We'll focus on Nyla and Taz because they're in the title. What happens is when you give people power and things go awry, you quickly find out that the power that was given or bestowed upon the powerful is not able to be adequately dispersed to solve the problem that afflicts the powerless. Right? This is why leaders of a movement are so important, ladies and gentlemen. This is why it does matter what Cynthia's personal background in life is. It does matter who her child's father is. It does matter. That's all I'll say about that. It matters quite a bit because the leader of the movement bears the brunt of the responsibility. When ish hits the fan, you got to be the one that's solid enough to know how to remove it, even if you don't have any sprinklers at the time. And when your own personal life is not reflective of the leadership qualities that you claim to possess, that you falsely politicize yourself on, then you get dismantled when the hard times come. Whether that be by your own hands and fumbling and mumbling and having these crazy gaffes online, having these crazy cracked out epidemic gaffes online, or being Joe Biden stuttering left and right, talking about and shaking hands with people that aren't there. Whether it be intentionally or unintentionally, your lack of leadership will be shown.
I see haters outside.